Okay, YouTube, I am back again. I know, more goddamn videos. Right, I'm not sure who sent me the link to this one. I can't remember. I can't keep track. You guys keep sending me links to everything. Straight off the bat, it looks fairly decent. There's some interesting bits there that, make sense, sort of. Normandy, World War II, US Airborne Kit and Jump Gear. So, without pushing play, 3 grenades. Good. Very good. And a yellow one, an early one. Awesome. He actually has some clips, some M blocks, some complete ones, not just blocks of foam or blocks of wood. 43. I can see a pistol belt. Can't see any riggers, but, they might be somewhere. GP bag, good. Bandolier, good. Torch, meow, got a ground bayonet. So we're assuming there's a grand somewhere. Oh yeah, just see it. Wash kit again. Everybody likes wash kits, but really, it's overdone. Just the items in your musette or a ditty bag would be better. Gas mask bag, good. Mess kit, not so. Radio, good depending on the role, but we don't know if he's even who he is. We assume it's a he. It should be a he. And the case for the radio is just nonsense. Throw that shit away. That's sort of crap you get from what's the company? Oh fuck, I can't remember what they're called. It's just garbage. Doesn't make sense. No, you never see them in any pictures. Just get rid of it. Okay, let's hit play and see what we get. Fingers crossed. Okay. We know he's 506. Good. That's handy that you put that in there. And then we know something about what we're looking at.
Okay, so hello everybody. Today's video is going to be on a complete kit layout.
Uh-oh. It's one of those again. A complete kit layout. Complete. He said this, not me.
For a US Airborne soldier in Normandy. So we'll start with the webbing. You'd have the basic
So, start with the webbing. Remember this being complete. No parachute first aid pouch. No riggers. Some crappy cleaning kit. Get rid of that. That's pointless. Why am I scrolling down like I'm trying to scroll down the picture? Okay, so already we're missing 2 or 3 riggers and a first aid and the parachute first aid packet.
M36 webbing sets.
Oh wait, and an M3 knife. Oh no, we saw that. It's not attached, is it? That's fine.
With the entrenching tool, the colour pouch, the water bottle, and if you're a grand rifleman, you would have the grand bayonet.
Although it's obviously a foreign scabbard, this probably Italian metal tip, when a lot of these were used after the war by many other nations, especially the Italians. They bought so many of these and repurposed them because they used the grand with different woodwork, only slightly different woodwork, but it's still different. They reinforced the plasticky, bakelite-y, fibrous scabbards and put a metal tip on the end. So that you can take that off. It's quite easy. It leaves you with a couple of holes, but they can easily be filled.
With your entrenching tool, I've got an M1 Garand cleaning kit on there.
That is not an M1 Garand cleaning kit.
With all the cleaning parts in there. To go into the colour pouch, you would have the first aid tin, which would go into there. And then this is a British-made canteen. And cup, and then here's the canteen, and here's a cup, which would go into that. And then on your back, you would have your 1936 musette bag.
Yep.
And in your musette bag,
oh, hey, this is looking promising. Well, original long johns, 2 pairs of socks. Okay, some of this is good.
You have some personal items, such as wash kit.
I mean, the wash kit is for an enlisted man. This is too much. When you roll that up, as I showed you in my video, a different video, that it takes up so much space. Like a small ditty bag with you don't need. Why would you have a box as well? You throw the box away. Tube, a barbasol, toothbrush, and the items. You put it in a small bag and it takes up hardly any room. And this thing, when you try and roll it, just all that space wedged between the items, it has nowhere to move. It doubles in size. All that wasted space.
And your mess tin.
Mess tin, no, again, that does not go in your Musette bag. Neither does the knife, neither does the fork.
Socks and some drawers as well. You've got to cook food on. This is a ration tin. It's wood alcohol. You take the top off.
Yeah.
Put this in the top there. Light it.
Yeah, I make these, just the rings, because it's just a nightmare to cook food, heat water without those. So I make those.
Creates heat. You put your canteen or whatever on top, and it'll warm it up.
Right, you only have a canteen or a mug, so one of those two, and normally only the mug.
And then you have your mess tin set with the mess tin and handle, and then the top part with your knife, your spoon, and your fork. This is a wartime mess tin, 1942 dated.
It's a nice mess tin, lovely, but just nothing to do with what you're doing. And
then you would have your wash kit. I've got some foot powder, that's a toothbrush holder, some barber salts for shaving cream. This is a shaving brush, mirror, razor, soap, Tim, soap and toilet paper. And then also in your Musette bag you would have your rations.
Except all of those rations are late war. Again, we're seeing the same morale ration boxes. Yes, they look nicer. I mean, they're called the morale boxes, but they're not for Normandy. They're late war stuff. You want the plain brown ones, or brown ones, or whatever I called them earlier. Plain brown, block text on the front. Look dull as dishwater, but they're correct. These are incorrect.
Most soldiers took rations. Some chose not to take rations.
Oh God, this isn't the same video, is it? No, I would remember the yellow grenade. Some soldiers did not choose not to take rations. Bloody absurdity is this?
Rations, so they wouldn't have had much food, maybe just a few bits of gum and some cigarettes or something.
Wait. This is sounding very familiar.
And then to carry your ammunition for your rifle, you would either have M1936 cartridge belt.
No, you wouldn't. No. You have a pistol belt and you have riggers. That's it.
But I don't have one of those, so what I use instead is called a GP bag, and that stands for general purpose, and they would have used this for lots of things, but you can be used to store ammunition. You'd want to get as much ammunition as you could possibly get. I've only got 4 here, but we do have a lot more of these clips. So yeah, I would fill this with ammunition. You'd have grenades as well. You might be wondering why this one is yellow.
Nope.
During World War I and early World War II, the grenades were yellow.
World War One? Were the World War One grenades yellow? I mean, I know they were crap when these first came out in World War One. They were rubbish. They were completely redone. I didn't know they were yellow in World War One.
It was to identify that they were live and they were explosive.
What is this shit as well? What's all this? That's weird.
So they realised this wasn't very good, so they painted them green but left the yellow strip around the top. So then they still had lots of these yellow grenades stocked, and they issued them in larger numbers over in the Pacific Theatre. They were seen over in the European...
No, you're just waffling. I mean, they were just grenades. They were just issued out to whoever. Some were repainted, the paint would wear off. They're everywhere. They're just grenades.
Theatre as well, but in less numbers, just to try and use them up before they could be taken over by the more common grenades like this. Taken over. And then on your leg you'd have a gas mask bag.
Yep.
This would be standard issue to everyone. Before this they'd have the canvas type bag.
Well, it's not standard to everybody, only people in the Normandy invasion got this shit.
This is the waterproof type, which they'd have used on...
It's not waterproof, it's a water repellent. Water resistant.
And of course you'd have your gas mask as well, but I don't have a gas mask at the moment.
Socks.
And with that you would also have this gas bracelet, which goes on your arm, and it shows up pink for mustard gas and purple for, I think it might be chlorine gas, but I'm not entirely sure.
I think it just goes red no matter what it is. It's not that technically advanced.
And then to carry more ammunition, you probably have a few bandoliers.
Yeah, one or two.
We've got a few more of these, and these full of bullets. And you want to take, like I said before, you want to take as much ammunition as you possibly can, because you don't know when you're going to get picked up again.
You do not take as much as you possibly can. What is it with these kids in this phrase?
You could be out there for a very long time. It depends how
3 days you were expected to be there for.
How fast the infantry are moving. And then you have your dog tags. Everyone had dog tags. These have got my name on my serial number and my tetanus stab.
See, that's a stab. It's not an injection, it's a stab. Yeah, see, they're a nice touch. You can't see the details.
And then, uniform-wise, you'd have the M40.
Of course, it's not CC2'd. We could have predicted this. Yeah, no CC2, no dirt. Looks immaculate. Never been, anywhere. It's not been in dirt.
42 jumpsuit and jump pants, and then
I don't even think that's reinforced, is it?
Some chose to wear the wool trousers underneath the jump pants.
Oh no! Some did not choose to. Everybody wore them. It's like saying some chose not to wear pants. Or actually, that would be trousers, wouldn't it? Because if you're an American, pants are trousers. No, they all wore wool trousers underneath their M42s. Underneath the wool trousers, they had long johns. Underneath the long johns, they had boxer shorts. It's not an option.
But not everyone had it, but it's for extra warmth.
Not everybody had it. This is the army we're talking about.
Then you probably take something like a scarf, keep you warm. Probably you wouldn't have had the parachute scarf before you jumped because they were cut as souvenirs from the chutes. They
were cut. No.
Weren't like an issue thing. So you probably have like a wool scarf like that or something.
Yes.
And then you'd have your Jeep cap to wear underneath your helmet.
Yeah, some would.
And also like
that looks really dark.
Keep you warm. And a poncho. The poncho will be folded.
Fucking ponchos as well. Are you kidding me? Kid, come on, buy some books. Talk to some people who know what they're on about. No, you do not get ponchos. Nobody had ponchos this early in the war. The Marines got them first. Then the army adopted them later. Raincoats. You have a raincoat or you don't buy a raincoat. That's your option. You should have a raincoat. Everybody had a raincoat. Like your wool trousers. You had them. If you don't have one, that's fine, but you should get one.
In a square like that, and then put sort of underneath the flap to the zip bag.
Don't put it anywhere near your bag. In fact, go and put it in the bin now, or burn it.
Had a tent in it or something, but my tent's up.
Jesus Christ. Stay calm. Stay calm. You don't get a tent either. You have a raincoat. If you want to get out of the rain, put your raincoat on. Sleep in a building. You don't get a tent. You don't get blankets. You don't get a duvet. You don't get a mobile home. And you don't get a Jeep. You jump with what you wear. You wear a raincoat. That is your cover from anything.
It's upstairs, so I put that in it instead. And then...
So you put that instead of it. You put that in the musette bag instead of something else, which is also equally as wrong.
Weapon, you... as a rifle squads, you'd have an M1 Grand. If you're like an NCO or something, you probably have an M1 Carbine.
No. He started off so well there. No. Everybody gets a Grand. Officers have M1 Carbine. No fucker gets a pistol. Let's not do this again. The odd few guys like hold on, where's the TO in here? So I told you it's always to hand because I can never remember this shit. The mortar gunner and the mortar gunner's assistant get an M1 carbine. Sorry, M1A1 folding stock carbine. And I think is it the gunner for the 30 cal? Yeah, I think it's either him or the assistant gets a folding stock carbine. Other than that, you get a grand.
Or a Thompson.
No! God, no! No, we're going further and further into fucking Farby bullshit land. Nobody gets a goddamn Thompson. The last Thompson withdrawn from Infantry Rifle Company parachute was in 1943 in February. And that was the staff sergeant at platoon headquarters level. He was the last person to be assigned a Thompson. That was withdrawn. He got a grand. No Thompsons.
There were less Thompsons than there were M1 Grands because...
Fucking yeah, there was. That's true. He is spot on there. There was less Thompsons than there were M1 Garands. Because there was fucking no Thompsons and there was fuckloads of Garands. Good. At least we agree on something.
They were like rifle squads, so they would have had rifles.
Infantry Rifle Company had rifle squads. Well, don't say he hasn't taught me something.
Obviously, there's like things like machine gun squads. They'd have had different things.
You don't get a machine gun squad. You get a rifle squad that has. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? You know what I'm going to say? A machine gun. Consisted of the gunner, the assistant, and the ammunition bearer. Or bearers. I can't remember if you get one or two. Ammunition bearer in a rifle squad. You have one.
The machine gun squad probably have a few carbines in it.
Oh. Well, a machine gun squad doesn't have any carbines. It doesn't have any people because that's not a thing. It does have a couple of carbines if you're counting the people that are in a rifle squad that have a light machine gun.
Of course, 30 cal as well. I do this as a radio man, so I'd have my handy talkie radio.
Again, I want to buy a radio, I want to be this, I want to carry this, and I want to do this, without any thought of actually who carries a radio. What radio do they carry? Why do they carry that radio? So, radio would be a T5, so I'm assuming he has no T5 stripes on his jumpsuit. Radio man would be at platoon headquarters. You know, what do you want me to tell you? You can't just make this shit up. Use the information which is out there. It's all out there for free as well. I'm not being an arsehole. If you're going to do this and say you've got everything, and then you make a video which you didn't have to make, and you talk nonsense, you're going to get pulled up on it. I mean, some of the items are lovely, don't get me wrong, but this needs building into something which makes some sort of sense.
And inside the padded jump case, which hooks onto the harness.
No, throw that shit away.
That
thing's just nonsense. It's just bollocks. Get rid of it.
And these are reproductions, but I've got another one upstairs and it links up to it and everything. You can phone each other, which is cool.
Yeah, what price glory make them? The paint's a bit crappy colour on them. You can take all this off. It just all unscrews. The black covers, the plastic outside of the button comes away. These black covers come away. Paint the whole thing a darker green and they look so much nicer. They look really, really good. And when it's off, you can stamp some numbers into the data plate because the data plate was left blank for whatever reason.
Cool. And then you'd have your jump boots.
Of course, spotless pair of brand new jump boots that are scared of mud or mud repellent by the looks of it.
And then moving on to jump gear. To put your rifle in, the rifle will be disassembled into two parts. The stock.
It's also, which side does the lock bar go on? I can't even remember now. I'm sure it's that side. So everything's to hand. It is that side, yeah. So it's a late war late war rifle, post-war rifle. There's no lock bar on it.
And the other part.
And if you don't know what I mean by lock bar, I will, when his hand's out the way and it's not so blurry. See the round sight adjuster here? It should have, where's the camera? It should have, see this bit, I almost knocked over my beer then. See what I do for you guys? See, it should have this big bar on there. That is the lock bar. And they stand out a mile. As soon as you know about them, you will see they're missing from everything. Even Denix, I say even Denix, like Denix fuck up every gun they make. There's always a mistake with them. And again, why didn't they make their Garand with a lock bar? You tell me.
Into the...
But that's so easy to change as well. Literally, I bought that lock bar, the whole sight system. I think it was about $25, $30 from the States. It was about $10 to get it shipped over. Replaced the whole thing over, and I went, wow. Do you know what? I was so glad somebody told me to do that. It just makes the rifle look as it should look.
Griswold bag.
Pointless.
But, they would have probably most likely have used these on D-Day, even. But after.
Most likely, probably. No. They did. They used them. 100%. Oh, why are you buying things if you don't know that you either need them or don't need them? If his guy is in a group and his group is just letting him buy all this random stuff willy-nilly without any thought, any research, or sort of instructing him or guiding him, then the group is a shower of shit. Why would you let your members waste money on things they don't need, have bought wrong? Such a shame. Unless he's doing pre-jump, forget the parachute, forget the Griswold bag, forget the Mae West. I mean, the parachute's lovely for displays like this, but you know it's unneeded. And then skip out all the important things like, you know, a bottle of decking oil, what, a tenner, and then the whole uniform will look decent. Some T5 rank stripes, what, original ones, a fiver, £6, 7, tenner at most, you know, with shipping from the States. Yeah, it's just, you need that attention to detail. You need to steer this kid in the right direction of how to do this stuff right, not leaving him to just buy randomness and make things up as he goes along. Give him some real information, give him some direction in what he's doing.
Afterwards, they saw that they weren't really too effective because you had to reassemble your weapon once on the ground, which wasn't ideal because you want to get fighting as soon as you can. So in some pictures you see it sort of looped underneath the belly band and behind the reserve chute.
Yeah, wedged
but
anywhere.
But for Normandy, most likely it would have been in the Griswold bag because that's what they were issued with, and they hadn't really been into combat before that.
Well, they hadn't been in combat before. The 82nd had, but not like this. You know, this was a brand new style of warfare. You know, jumping out of a plane to go and fight the enemy, not overseas, behind enemy lines. This is new. So this whole system of using Griswold bags and things was untested.
There was the first pattern Griswold bag, which was laced up, which again took even more time, so they changed it again. And then you see the rigger modified ones, which have extended ends on, so the entire rifle
like
can be put in, so it doesn't have to be disassembled. Moving on to jump gear, you would have your B4 Mae West, as they were called, well, they're nicknamed. And this was originally Air Force issue, but it was adopted by the Airborne because it was a simple design. They had a lot of them. And then that was worn over the top of everything else, over the top of your webbing and everything. And then over the top of that, you would have your T5 parachute. That was the first type of parachute used. There was the parachute type X as well, but that was more experimental. So you'd have your T5. I will very briefly go over how this works. What happens, you have your static line here, which hooks onto the line going through the middle of the plane, and then when you jump, the static line stays in the plane, and then it comes undone.
Yanks that door
through
off.
all these bands, and it comes undone, and it keeps coming undone until it gets to the very end, where it pulls out this back panel, which pulls out the guide chute, which then pulls out the main chute. And
it's really simple, but really clever.
In case the main chute fails, you have your T5 reserve chute. How this works. What happens is this is all sprung, and there's like connectors in here. So when you pull this handle here, it pulls this all apart. So it's like sort of pulls it apart like that, and then that releases the chute and it comes out.
Isn't it strange? He has no idea that everybody has to wear wool trousers. Yeah, he owns a pair. He has no idea about so much stuff. But how the parachute works, it gets it all spot on and understands how it all works and why it does the things it does.
And then headwise, you'd have your M1 paratrooper helmet with the paratrooper stuff in it.
Paratrooper stuff.
You most likely on D-Day you'd have had a D-bail, which if you don't know what D-bail is, this is called a swivel bail. Because the bails here swivel.
You wouldn't necessarily have a D-bail. It's possible you have a D-bail or fixed bail. You don't have swivel bail.
They move. They're not fixed.
Swivel.
There's a fixed bail type as well, but that's similar to this, but this doesn't move. D-bail, what it is, comes around in a D shape like this, and these are prone to breaking, so they're very rare to get. If you get an original D-bail, they are worth a ton of money. So yeah, you'd have...
I spotted something else we haven't seen before yet I've had to pick up on. Let me just flick back the tiniest little bit so we get a bit more of the... Okay, so here's the ace for 506. And underneath, it's got the hash, or dash, or dot, or whatever else you want to call it. This identifies the individual. So this would be... I can't remember. Let's grab the book. Again, always keep all my books, well, all the important airborne books to hand. That would be 2nd Battalion, or depending on what the unit is, it could be a company, like the artillery units. So that's 2nd Battalion. But for Normandy, they didn't do these dashes. It's one of those things people can fuck up, because if you don't know they didn't do it, you look at the book and you see all the pretty styles of markings, and where is it? I can't even see the right thing. And then you see this section here, and it says to put the dash at the top for headquarters, put it to the right for first battalion, at the bottom for 2nd Battalion, and to the left for 3rd Battalion. But nowhere in this book does it say, hey, oh, by the way, they didn't do this in Normandy. So people like to mark that up, and then they do it wrong. The only time that little dash gets put on there is if it's a star. Not a star? That's not a star, you idiot. If it's a square or a circle. Not because that means those things. It means something completely different with those. Not with the club, not with the diamond, not with the heart, not with the spade. So that, for Normandy, needs to come off, or just be painted over, whichever is easiest.
Yeah, what it is, comes around in a D shape. They are worth a ton of money. So yeah, you'd have, most likely have D-bail, because they're what paratroopers were issued with. You have your scrim and everything on your helmet.
See, the scrim's nice.
And then your paratrooper liner.
It's not over the top. It's not, you know, and 506 was one of those units where some of them had none of it, some had a little bit, and some had a bit more. None of them went like the 502 where it's, you know, they're wearing a fucking bush. The 506 was a sort of, I would say, a none to light sprinkling of scrim on average.
Cup, leather chin cup, and A-frames, and then the liner itself. So that is pretty much it for what I can think of, what you would have carried. It weighs, well, I weigh about 7 stone, and when I have all of this on, fully loaded, everything, chute and everything, it's about 11 stone, so that's about 4 stone worth of kit.
Yeah, and you've not got 100 rounds of ammo, you've not got rigger pouches, you've not got the first aid pouch, you hopefully should be wearing your wool trousers if you're measuring yourself like this. You said you've not got a gas mask, you're carrying a mess tin, you're carrying cutlery you shouldn't be, you're carrying a poncho you shouldn't be, so although it weighs quite a bit, yeah, you're still missing loads of stuff.
And that's a lot. That's half my own body weight. And if you can imagine, even standing up in this is hard.
Well, you can see that from the videos of them boarding the planes.
No, I'm not very old, but it is difficult. It's very heavy, and if you got to jump out of a plane and land with this, it does take.
Oh, I was once talking to a paratrooper, and he said to me, "You know what? I never once jumped from a plane." And I sort of looked a bit confused, and he said, "No, I fell from a lot though." And I went, "Yep, that term of jumping from planes, he's spot on. Nobody jumps from a plane. You walk to the door, or waddle to the door, or are pushed to the door, and you just walk or are pushed out. Nobody jumps. There's no jumping involved."
Take a lot of training to get this right. So.
Wait, what?
I really don't understand. And land with this, it does take a lot of training to get this right.
What's it about?
Of kit, and that's a lot. That's half my own body weight. And if you can imagine, even standing up in this is hard. I mean, I know I'm not very old, but it is difficult. It's very heavy, and if you got to jump out of a plane and land with this, it does take a lot of training to get this right.
Well, it doesn't take a lot of training to land. You know, gravity makes you land. Waffle.
So I really don't understand how people could have landed safely wearing this.
Parachute.
So yeah, I hope this has been a bit of a better overview of it, because some people have been asking me to detail what they would have carried in comments, and if I were to list this all in a personal message, it would take ages. So if you ask me, I will send you this video, and this sort of details everything that you would have had.
Well, it doesn't detail everything they had. I know your intentions are good, but you are part of the problem of spreading misinformation. Sorry, just putting the book back. I know your intentions are good. Unfortunately, you don't have the knowledge base to say they had this, they didn't have this, they could have had this. You're giving misinformation about ponchos that they didn't have. You're saying some people wore wool trousers where all of them did. You've not mentioned CC2, you've not mentioned riggers, you've got the wrong rations, you say you take the mess kit, you've got a radio case which should be simply destroyed. I'm not being mean. This is just the way it is. You've also got a drop rope. I like the drop rope. That's if you're going for early D-Day, 2, 3, 4 plus, keep the drop rope on you. It doesn't get in the way too much, depending on where you put it, how you hang it. You've got the gas mask bag, good. You've got a brassard. It needs screwing. Screw that thing into a ball. Then put it on. If it rips, it rips. Great. It should not look brand new and shiny. Your boots need to be worn. Wear them out. Wear them to the park. Scuff them up. You know, they should look battered and abused, not like a brand new pair of boots you've gone to Clark's and gone and get. Your uniform needs to be filthy. It doesn't even have to be real mud if you are scared of it smelling. It needs to be CC2 treated. This is a massive thing that so many Normandy 101st and 82nd reenactors don't do. It's easy. £10 buys you a bottle of decking oil. Get a bucket, put your jumpsuit in it, pour oil over it till the whole thing is soaked. Literally soaked as soaked can be. Hang it in the garden, leave it. It's that easy. It really is that easy. Leave it for a week. Leave it for a month. When it's dry, doesn't matter how long it takes, you will have a dark looking, waxy, oily looking uniform. That is how it should look. It's again this. You've got the building blocks. You've got your basic stuff. You can add some rigger pouches. You can CC2 uniform. You can put the T5 rank stripes on there. Although if you're doing 506, you can paint them on. A lot of 506 guys, for some reason, they didn't sew the rank on. They painted it on, which is great. If you're doing 506, perfect. Get rid of the hash mark on the helmet. You know, this is easy stuff. And your impression will go from literally from bottom, and it will skyrocket straight up to a really, really good impression. None of this is difficult. It's about getting hold of the information, understanding the information, knowing why you're doing it, and then just doing the little things. It's not, as I say, nothing is difficult about getting this right. I hope you do. I hope you fine tune this into one hell of an impression. Because as I said, it's easy. All this information is on extremerelichunters.com/502. Although it's 502, you're 506. This whole premise around all this airborne stuff is very, very similar. If it says on the website this is 502 only, then don't do it. But there's not many things that say that. Like the CC2, everybody did that. All trousers, everybody wore them. Easy. If you want to message me through that website, use the contact function. I will see it. It will come to me. I can help, advise, guide you in anything you want to know. And that goes for anybody. If you're doing this and want to get it right, blast me a message. Okay. It was a bit of a long one, but it was interesting. I hope he sorts out the impression and it goes, you know, up to a tip-top impression, because there's no reason why not. Okay. Until next time.